You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Got a couple different things, including trade talk to the Saints? Question mark? Big one? Now, forgive me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Saints draft Tyler Shough in the second round? I'm almost sure of it. I know I'm not going crazy, but now they're going to trade for Shedeur Sanders? Okay, that's interesting. And we've got a Cleveland radio host that loses his ever-loving mind over Shedeur Sanders. I guess there's a large portion of the Cleveland fan base that believe that Shedeur Sanders is not getting a fair shake as far as equity and competition. No shit, he's a fifth-round pick. There. I mean, I don't know how else to clear that up. Fifth-round pick's not going to get equity and reps. You can forget that shit. I mean, honestly, he's going to have to go out during a preseason game, during preseason play, of which time he should get a lot of reps during these preseason games. But if you're talking about actual in practice, in training camp, against the ones, with the ones, no, he's not going to. That's not the way the NFL works. Now, you guys know I've said in the past, I think the NFL's got a very flawed system when it comes to their quarterbacks and cannibalizing their own quarterbacks. In other words, I think there's guys that could play that slip through the system because they didn't get enough reps. Or, I mean, you know, you got one guy that's getting 4 reps or 5 reps or whatever, and then you got a guy that gets, 19 reps. You get my point. And against the level of competition, this, that, and the other. I just think there's guys that probably could have played, especially if they had the right coaches, that was never given a chance. But until something comes around like a developmental league, by the way, I almost did a UFL video because the UFL got a massive, massive investor, a billionaire today, and he's got some unbelievable ideas. He wants to expand to 16 teams by 2035. UFL may be here to stay for a while, at least. So let's start with the Cleveland radio host. I saw this guy, and my first thought was, is this Cleveland's version of Scott Zolak? Is that what we're doing? The ex-Patriots quarterback that's now all over New England radio? I mean, Scott Zolak's one cool bitch. I don't know if you can go that route. But so anyway, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, wow, it's Timu Scott Zolak right here on the right. This guy right here on the right. So this is the Ken Carman show with Anthony Lima. I'm going to be real. I ain't never watched this show. I ain't never listened to it. I don't know which one's which. But this son of a gun right here on the right is going to lose his ever-loving mind. I mean, he is big mad at some Cleveland fans.
But they are doing everything they can for a guy like the name of Sanders, a star of his caliber. They're doing everything they can to provide the fairest shot possible for him. I will take it to my grave, whether it's in the next minute, the next 30 minutes, or the next 30 years. I will take it to my grave.
You may take a Twinkie with you to the grave.
And say it right to St. Peter's face. They are doing nothing to try to break a quarterback. They're doing nothing to try to break Shedeur Sanders, especially Shedeur Sanders. For anybody out there who is not a real Browns fan, who might be listening to this, I am telling you right now, shaking as hard as I can, they are not doing anything to try to sabotage or try to break Shedeur Sanders or to not be fair to Shedeur Sanders. How many jerseys did he already sell? How many jerseys did he already sell? How
Number one amongst
how
rookies.
many autographs has he already signed in Greater Cleveland? How many events has he already had in Greater Cleveland? How many events has this man already? How much charitable contribution has this man made to society over the last umpteen years here, or at least the last 4 since he was at Jackson State, and certainly probably before because of who his father is? How many things has he done? They're trying to break Shedeur Sanders after the cloud this franchise has been under over the last 3 seasons. They don't want that guy to be a franchise quarterback for them, the team that's more obsessed with finding a franchise quarterback than any team out there. They don't want Shedeur Sanders to play for them. Please, if you are not a real Browns fan, and I understand that many of the people who are saying these things aren't, and they've just looked at the Browns as not a good franchise and something they have not paid attention to. I don't want to tell you to pull your head from your ass because I want to be inviting to you.
You want to be inviting? Dude, I don't want to tell you because we're not a good franchise. You're not a good franchise. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. You're not a good franchise, Tommy boy. Fat guy in a little coat. I mean, I'm not trying to clown this dude, but what are you doing, dude? What in the Timu Scott Zolak are you doing right now? I don't get it. You're not getting a fair shake. You're not getting a fair look. No. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, Shedeur was never going to get a bunch of first team reps and all that. The moment he slipped past the other quarterback that you took, no, that wasn't going to happen. That was not going to happen at all. So I guess there's a large portion of probably the Sanders fan base that's mad. He's going to have to ball out in preseason games. Deion said it. Remember, I did a video just yesterday or day before. Prime said, Shedeur said, don't come to camp, Dad. I'm not getting no reps. And Deion said, Shedeur also followed it up with, but they got to let me play in preseason. And that's kind of leading us into this, right? Speculation that the Saints are connected or could be connected to Shedeur Sanders. Now, look, the Saints fan base, they would love this. Oh, they would love this, of course. I mean, they love Jameis Winston, but you hated you some Derek Carr. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, sure, the fan base would love it. They wanted Shedeur Sanders in New Orleans badly. Real bad. Again, Albert Breer said that Shedeur came in the camp much further behind than Dylan Gabriel from a quarterback, NFL quarterback skill standpoint. They weren't starting at the same level to begin with, never mind the reps. Former NFL cornerback Asante Samuel, the great Asante Samuel, is this senior, the one that hates Bill Belichick with a passion, posed the possibility during a recent podcast episode, noting that Sanders could pique the interest of other quarterback-needy teams if he was to put together an impressive showing in Cleveland's preseason opener against the Panthers on the 8th of August. Samuel then specifically named New Orleans Saints as a potential landing spot. Quote, if he goes out there and done something like he did today, 9 for 9, 2 touchdowns, 32 other teams watching, Samuel said. Oh man, this might be the first time in history that something bizarre happens where a team tries to trade for him, like the Colts or the New Orleans Saints. The Saints actually have a couple of quarterbacks on their roster already, and Spencer Rattler, nope. I'd be done on him right now. And Tyler Shough. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Shuck's going to be able I think he's going to be able to play. I think he's fixing it. He's one of these guys that has a ton of college reps, and there's something there. There's something there with that kid. He was athletic. got above average arm. There was a lot of things on the check the box chart for quarterbacks that he checked the box up. The biggest one that was his problem was I think he's already 25 years old. Now, personally, that wouldn't bother me none. But for a lot of NFL teams, that was a problem. If he was 22, he'd have went in the first round. That's something to think about. If he'd have been 21, he'd have went in the first round. But they feel like, he's been injured a couple of major injuries, although it was like it wasn't the kind of injuries that will probably be repetitive kind of injuries. It was like one clean leg break and something else. If I remember correctly, he broke his leg or something like that. But nonetheless, you get my point. I don't know. I mean, I can't. Yeah, I mean, in a way, one of those Cleveland quarterbacks is going to get cut or traded. Likely traded. I guess it could be Shedeur. I think it's interesting that Jimmy Haslam is doing a "don't look at me, I didn't pick him" thing. I will never believe that. I will never believe he didn't influence it. I think he's trying to save face now. I think Andrew Berry's sitting back mad as hell at his owner, thinking, what the bleep? Did you see my face when I drafted him? Did I look happy? That radio host, man, he lost his ass. He did. I'll take it to the grave. Okay, I mean, it's an NFL quarterback. It's not that serious, but all right. Take it to the grave, man. Knock yourself the hell out, I guess. I thought he was going to there for a second. I mean, seriously. T-Moo Scott Zolak going eel. By the way, Scott Zolak, good on the radio. Really good on the radio. Yeah. Man, some of our East Texas sports radio guys, they should really go to Cleveland and try out. Shit. Yeah, we got a couple of them around here that's might be better than that dude. Anyway, let me know what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.